Hi there, Sage Canaday of VO2 Max Productions here with another training talk video. Today we're going to talk about recovery in regards to coming back from overtraining or coming back from a race or even coming back from injury. Now, I'll admit that I'm not an expert on coming back from all sorts of injuries because I haven't had that many overuse injuries in my running career. There's some wood to knock on. There's a tree over there. Knock knock. But I've come back from tendonitis, some shin splints, things like that, that you have to ice and treat. And coming back from overtraining is something I am very, very familiar with, unfortunately. And I think a lot of runners could relate to that. It's something where you get burned out either mentally and or physically. You outdo yourself and you end up not racing up to expectations or up to your potential. So that's really frustrating, and that's what I kind of want to focus on mainly with this training talk. So thanks for the idea. I saw it got the most votes on one of my previous training talk videos, and as always, feel free to comment below. I'll try to get back to as many as I can. But with overtraining, I basically want to start off with the premise of what my teammate Nick Arciniaga said to me. And this is back in our days at Hanson's Brooks. We were running together. Nick ran 2:13 at New York City Marathon that year, and his PR now is 2:11 in the marathon. So very good runner. He was putting in 140, 150 miles a week all the time. But what he said to me really resonated. And the quote was, "It's only overtraining if you're basically outdoing what your body could handle at the time." So for everyone, that's an individual thing. It's really just a matter of, if you're only used to running 3 or 4 days a week and maybe 30 miles a week, and then all of a sudden you try to bump up to running 5 days a week all of a sudden and run 50 miles a week, you might outdo yourself just because it's all relative to what you've done in the past with your running history. And so it's an injury risk, and it's also an overtraining risk when you make sudden jumps like that. And maybe it's you're running your easy day mileage too fast. Maybe a lot of people go out and they'll run every day. They'll kind of push and run marathon goal race pace or something like that. And usually that's not a good thing to do. It's not a sustainable practice. And really, the important principle that I've mentioned in my other training talk videos with periodization and training is that you have to be consistent. And to be consistent, you have to run pretty easy on your easy days. You can't run too fast. A lot of times I run 2 minutes a mile slower than my marathon race pace, which is probably a little more extreme, but for most people, you should probably run at least a minute a mile slower than your marathon race pace if you're a sub 4-hour marathoner. So there's that. And if you get injured, you're not going to be able to train consistently because you're not going to be able to run. You definitely have to take time off. And on the same token, if you're outdoing yourself, if you're running your easy days too fast, you're running your tempo runs too fast, too hard, and you're not giving yourself enough time to recover, you won't be consistent as well. You're going to be all over the place with your workouts. You might bomb a workout. You won't be able to hit certain paces, and it might not show up till race day. It might not show up till you have a half marathon or something, and you just totally don't perform up to expectations, and you actually race worse than what your workout suggests, and that's what we don't want. So with coming back from overtraining, I say first would be recognizing the symptoms, and that would be usually a poor race performance, inconsistent workouts, or an overuse type of injury, whether it's Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, pretty painful knee pain or shin splint pain. Those are a lot of the most common injuries. And first thing I'd recommend doing, and this is what I do also after every ultramarathon or marathon or any race basically that I've done, half marathon and up, is I take some days off. And you can't be afraid to take days off. And you see a lot of disciplined runners, they got to run every day or they got to run, a certain mileage each week. No, just throw that out the window. Unless you're like one of those people with one of those crazy running streaks where you run 3 or more miles every day for 10 years, it's really not a good idea to force a run. And mentally, it's good for me. It's a good break, I think. And then also, more importantly, physically, your body needs to recover. You need to get the inflammation. You're gonna be inflamed after a hard race, especially like a marathon or ultra, and you're gonna need time to recover from that. And so, a good rule of thumb is I usually take at least 3 days off, sometimes 5 days, or even a whole week off after a race. And even after a road marathon, sometimes I'm the most beat up, and I'll take 2 weeks, basically almost totally off, and then come back really slowly with easy running every other day or something like that. And so this could happen in the middle of your training cycle though. You could start feeling a little burned out, a little overtrained, take a day off. Then after you take some days off, reassess yourself, see if there's still inflammation or pain. Come back very gradually, very slowly. People always want to rush back into training hard, or they think they're going to be at the same level. Well, after 5 days of totally off, I start losing fitness very fast. Most people won't lose fitness quite as fast unless they've been running for a really long time and training at a really high level. But if you take a week or two off, you definitely need to come back very slowly. And obviously if you have some major injury like a stress fracture, you're probably coming off at least a 6-week break, maybe several months, and you're going to have to come back very, very slowly, very cautiously. And get your vitamin D level checked. That's important too for stress fractures and things like that. But coming back from overtraining symptoms, after you take your little break, you come back really slowly. Maybe you have a whole week where you just run really, really easy pace, like jokingly slow pace, at least conversational pace, where you could talk and hold a conversation and just really relax and not even worry about what your mile splits are and what the effort is with your heart rate. Because just getting the legs moving, getting the blood flowing is a good thing for your body, and it's good for your metabolism as well. So coming back from that, you do that really slowly, and then you have to gradually work back into your quality workouts. This goes along with my periodization training talk as well. You do have to change up your training. You can't be doing the same weekly schedule all year long. It's not sustainable. You're either going to peak too soon and get in really good shape really fast and then lose it after a month or two, or you're going to injure yourself and overtrain. So you can't just go into doing interval track workouts really fast again. You have to gradually build up with easy mileage, then maybe incorporate some long runs, some tempo runs at a really slow pace, like marathon race pace, or maybe even half marathon race pace, but something that's usually pretty comfortable, pretty easy, whereas before your tempo run pace might have been closer to 10K race pace plus 10 or 15 seconds a mile. So you're doing that very gradually. You're gradually increasing your mileage again and building into workouts. You never want to change more than one variable every 3 weeks. It usually takes 3 or 4 weeks for you to really get a physical adaptation to a certain stimulus type of workout, whether it's a tempo run or a long run or a VO2 max workout. And so if you're raising your mileage, you just want to do that with easy mileage for 3 weeks. And then if you're going to add another variable, adding quality, you add a tempo run once a week in. And you don't want to add, you don't want to be adding tempo runs and VO2 max workouts and raising your mileage all at the same time, because that's 3 variables at play, and you really only want to be working one variable at a time. So give yourself time to adapt. Give yourself 3 or 4 weeks before you change a major training stimulus, like raising your mileage drastically or adding a speed type of workout. And realize that you are going to be coming back at a lower fitness level than what you left off at. And that's kind of the whole idea with building your fitness over time. It's a periodization thing. Super compensation is a term we use, a lot of coaches throw around if you read a lot of the books I've suggested, where your fitness goes up, you get in shape, and then you're training hard again, and your fitness kind of almost dips down because you're absorbing the new hard training. And you don't want to dip down too far because then you're overtraining. But then once you adjust, you pop up again, you get a boost in fitness. So your fitness isn't a linear progression necessarily. It's not always increase. You get better and better with harder workouts and more mileage. It's more of it's diminishing returns. It's a curved shape fitness thing. And it also kind of bumps up and down like this. So you're not just, there's no direct correlation of, oh, I did a VO2 max workout 12 days ago, it should kick in all of a sudden, boom, now. It's more of a series and sequence of workouts that build on top of each other that get progressively harder as you progress, hopefully over months and months towards your peak race. And so you do have to be patient, and that's probably one of the number one things with really determined runners. You have a lot of self-discipline to go out there and train and hurt yourself, and the body's very fragile structurally. Like your tendons and muscles and bones are going to go first before your heart and lungs go for most people. And that's a problem because it's not like cycling or swimming where you could just wail on for hours and hours each day and get that aerobic stimulus. Running's a very high impact sport, and you have to treat your body with care and let your tendons and muscles adapt to the rigors of training. And that does take time, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of self-discipline to hold back and not run too fast on your easy days, not show off, try to get a Strava PR every day, or beat your friend or training teammate in every easy run. It's definitely something you don't want to do and something you have to watch. And with injury, Coming back from tendonitis, definitely get out the ice bags. I used to ice my tendons a lot. Get out a foam roller, roll your IT bands on the side. Might do a video on that, or you could check out my girlfriend Sandy Nypaver's channel, Running Wild to Believe, for some more extra core and strength training tips and injury prevention, things like that. Because having a strong core also really helps prevent your injury, because it helps you run with better, more efficient form. And that's really important as well. But I think that's about it for this training talk. As always, thanks again for all the views and all the support. Really appreciate all the comments. Feel free to comment below with a new training talk topic, and the one that gets the most thumbs up, I'll try to recognize hopefully and do a training talk on that. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.